All right. We're back. This should be the final session, at the very least. Not episode.
Yeah. Picked up all the corn.
All the corn is picked up. I got Diamond Dust.
The blight has taken over. Oh, you got Diamond Dust?
I got Diamond Dust, and we have the cash to refund it and drop anything else in if we want to. And, yeah, might fuck around. I still think this shit looks hot, and it'd be dope to do that, alternating with Dancing Steel, which I also have equipped an item which reduces which increases the Santesican gauge on Dancing Steel by 25%,
right.
So we can hit that level 5 more often.
Faster.
That is great. Okay, so between last night and today, I've cleaned up everything that I could clean up.
You did stuff.
A whole lot. In fact, we have 5 side quests remaining, some of which are locked behind completing their previous step. Every other side quest has been done, and for the most part, I got the cliff notes on what was interesting about them. So a couple things, and even some thoughts on the world lore at large, really. So to kind of just summarize. So yeah, I did everything to get Gotterdammerung, as well as Ouroboros and the Sons of Ouroboros.
Damn.
So we got the equipment. The process of getting these required hunting specific stuff across the map, which included some interesting monsters, actually. So for these, at one point you had to hunt down a chocobo that was casting meteor. Just a wild ass crazy chocobo that's freaking the fuck out, and it's casting meteor on
crazy.
you, and you got to take it out, and it's going ham. The red chocobo. Then at one point you go to Walud, and there's a goblin that somehow crossed the ocean on its own and made it into town, and is like this crazy strong goblin. So you fight that, and it doesn't have a stagger bar, interestingly. It's kind of like a super grunt, so it doesn't stagger. You just hit it, and it just hits it, and you stagger, and you create hit stun on it. But yeah, just a super goblin.
Okay.
Basically.
The Uber Goblin.
Pretty incredible. Yeah, and when Clive beats the chocobo, he's like, it's like, poor beast, I had no choice, like he's just, yeah. But it is what it is. But anyway, all that led to these items. Okay, so then we did what seemed to be like the big missions with Mid. And for her, a lot of the stuff off camera was like helping the kids who were taking apart her scales, and then you put them back together and all this stuff. And you find some parts to basically help her with an upgrade where she wants to make an airship.
Okay, a real one.
She wants to convert it into an airship, essentially.
Finally.
And so she's going through the experimentation and stuff, and she sets it up, and it ends up looking like she has a little model that ends up looking like an FF6 airship that we kind of saw, which is actually the FF1 airship. Correct? Yes. Okay. So you have the where the mast is and all that stuff with the spinning propellers, vertical, kind of thing, and it fails. It doesn't work, and so she's like, shit, okay.
Oh no.
And she's like, well, she's kind of has a moment of like, okay, I don't want to necessarily also end up doing something that if I push this direction, it can become a weapon of war that'll become worse for the planet and stuff. So
if wrong hands get
hands get on it, then this could be bad. So she's like, I'll but I won't destroy it. I'll bury the schematics, and I'll put a puzzle in place, and I'll make it really hard to figure it out, but only the most dedicated, like, bright minds could do this, and like a random war general won't be able to figure that out, you know? And so they kind of have their little moment there, and that's the thing. And it's kind of interesting because I kind of realized when I saw that mission that I was like, if you think about the people and the things the things Clive is accomplishing, all right, I'm like, oh, this is the stuff that if you fast forwarded like a century in this world or two, like these are mythical figures that would be revered if not worshipped, you know, like to an insane degree. Clive is kind of the, like in Metal Gear you hear about Big Boss as it's insane how much this person accomplished. He's the every soldier, he's the greatest hero of all time. What a fucking G. Clive is kind of that. Okay. With the amount of shit he's pulling off, and he's like it's set up to be the heroic figure of legend you would hear and see statues of in a future setting with the amount of shit he's pulling off, you know? And in a similar fashion, someone would also be like uncovering the mysteries of the airship of Mid, you know, in a world of like lost tech. Yeah. And they'd be going on, and like she's telling you how she's gonna set up this treasure hunt for anyone to find it, and anyone who does will eventually uncover the mystical airship schematic. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh yeah, I could see that being the breadcrumbs for like a future type setting where people are like looking back on this era as like, oh my god, I can't believe how like amazing those figures were at the time. They're larger than life, you know? Okay, so we also had a mission that we did where a new bearer named Ember joined up, and he was basically rescued by Gav. And so as a result, most of the bearers that join up kind of want to be, they kind of end up on maybe being like curse breakers, people that want to help free other bearers, but he wants to be a scout because Gav's a scout. Oh. And so you kind of go and you do a little mission where he's like auditioning essentially, and he's kind of a coward, and he runs into a dragon and like fails to like, you know, pull up. But then you show up and save him, and then he manages to get the mission done anyway. So then you have to choose whether or not, like, it's like, technically he did do the mission, which is what you asked him to do. Do you want to hire him or not? And so you go like, yeah, okay, cool. So he gets in there.
Even though you kind of held his hand.
Exactly, but you get to choose yes or no should he join, because he technically, while you were fighting off the dragon, did sneak into the tower and do the mission you asked him to do. So, you know, we can teach you how to fight, but more importantly, we need you to scout if that's what we're going to hire you to do. So there's a bunch of missions that were also like not worth mentioning, you know, like whatever, you go hunt and trade in some skins and yada yada. There was one that was kind of interesting though. Well, here, actually, before I get to that one, there was one that was fucking woof called Litany of Errors. Yeah. Which involved basically someone in the hideout asked you to go. He's like, can you send me back to, thanks for rescuing me. Great. Happy to be here. You rescued me from Waloed. Now, can you send me back there on a mission? And he's like, that's Ash's a death sentence. What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, no, I got to get back there. And he kind of explains that he needs to get a book, which is a registry of all his friends that passed away at an orphanage that he was raised in. Oh. And so you go over there, and you basically uncover that this orphanage was a place where they were like conditioning, quote unquote, bearer children to become like soldiers, and effectively it was just a torture camp, right? So tons of kids died, and you find the notes, and here's the first note you find, right? Okay. Sandbags, which instructor shall dictate. Yeah.
The furnace, burn intensity, live combat, 1 to 3 hellhounds, depending on performance.
So for conditioning the children, crush them with 20 sandbags, burn them, and have them survive a couple of hellhounds on them. The second note you find is this one.
Drow bearers are granted the opportunity to give themselves in service to the state as soldiers. Trainees succumbing to the crystal's curse or otherwise perishing are to be disposed of with all haste. Graveyards strictly reserved for the uncursed. Bearer disposal within its bounds is punishable by death.
So any children that just turn to stone, toss that shit. get back to work. But if they're uncursed, then that's a shame. Bury him. And then the last note you get is this one.
Recently learned that my own daughter was among the children turned to stone by the brutal training I subjected them to. I had not so much as thought of her since handing her over to the authorities as a babe, but inquiries with the military confirmed it. It was her. I had been torturing my own flesh and blood, and now I see her everywhere. Today, one of the children smiled at me in the hope of receiving a few scraps from my table. It was her smile, the smile she inherited from her mother, the mother I killed for giving birth to a bearer. Their ghosts have all come back to haunt me. My daughters, my wife's, all of them, all those children. So many have died at my hand. I can bear the guilt no longer, and so I have decided tomorrow I too must die. It will be the last order I give those poor wretches, the last torment I subject them to. I will command them to tear me limb from limb and inter my accursed corpse beneath the white tree whose crooked hands reach to the sky in supplication, and beside me my shame, my curse, the record of all their names, all those I have wronged.
The entire area around this building is just a graveyard. It's super fucked. So you then go and uncover the location described, and it's...
Then you find the registry.
Yep.
10 years old.
Turning to lithification, turned to stone.
To stone. 9 years old, succumbed to the conditioning.
Crushed beneath the bags.
12 years old, lithification against stone.
Mm-hmm.
10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
emaciation, literally withered away.
Mm-hmm.
11 years old, discipline for attempted flight.
Killed for trying to escape. Same thing.
And that was in 846.
And then it just goes on and on and on. And it's just like, yeah, this place is just a, like, slaughterhouse for children. So, topical, because we were actually just discussing right before the end of the last bit how you could further underline the points of this game by getting into, like, child abuse. And here it is.
Yeah.
It was one of the side quests was like, oh yeah, no, right there.
Yeah, it does happen.
And the point is to effectively, if you survive all of this, you then get to be a soldier of the state, owned by the state because you're state property, and then dying in battle is awesome, and or dying due to the curse being used up on you is the best death you can hope for. So give your life to the kingdom, you know? Super duper fucked. So, that was a pretty impactful one.
Okay.
And that was what Waloed was up to, right? So, to that point, then there was Carved in Stone, which was a side mission where you just go to one of the outpost towns in the mountains, and you basically just uncover the history of like how it came to be, and it more or less describes how a couple of farmers and travelers and so on got together and founded this place, and they were descendants of the fallen.
Okay.
That kind of came to create this place. And it's like, oh, okay, so like that kind of is just a direct thing that's like, okay, therefore safe to say that well, it seems like with that implication that Ultima and the Fallen kind of like created, they tell you that they created humanity, but I guess it's less of a like I Frankensteined you from clay, and it's more of like you are directly a part of my lineage, but you're a like weaker, less than the complete version of what I am, like kind of like copy.
Okay.
That I guess what is Akashic and therefore can be, submissive and controlled, right? So I guess we were unclear on whether it was like, I was like, did they sculpt humanity out of clay and say go? And it's like, no, not quite. Like Ultima kind of looks like a human being to some degree. So I guess the idea is that like, they were more of like genetically extracted from whatever the Fallen were,
Okay.
So then with that, and then looking at Harpocrates' lore, it kind of then goes on to describe how in the Akashic state, they're like the perfect like vessel to be controlled, right? And then to be completely like their wills don't exist. And then there's also an entry for like logos, which does specify that like mythos is what Clive is supposed to be, like the ideal like container, right? That they're waiting for, and that logos is kind of like a corrupted version that is like a false god that is controlled by another, right? So the interesting thing, I guess, with the way that stuff is introduced and presented is like the idea of what's happening with Ultima and Akashics, and then Ultima and then you, is clearly trying to parallel the relationship between bearers and the slave masters.
Okay.
And the idea of like having one person that controls the will of another, right, is being echoed at large in the top theme, while the world is a whole in a microcosm version of that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, and like fighting for your own will and freedom, despite the fact that you were born to not have it and destined to not have any, and you're not supposed to ever have your own freedom.
Here we are.
Is the struggle, right? Which does reflect, it makes more sense of the theming of what they're going for with Ultima. Then shout outs to post on the subreddit.
I never go there.
Terhelt, I want to say,
for my own sanity.
That's fine. Which then highlighted something that like equally points back to the same thing of like how Ultima is kind of trying to create a situation with the slave master bearer relationship, in that Barnabas and Ultima's relationship is the end state of it's the perfect end state of the slave and master relationship that bearers have with non-cursed people. And Barnabas is like one of the few people that has been able to see the truth behind the world and the history of how everything came to be, and accepts that it's futile, there's nothing you can do, and ultimately just wants to be the perfect slave for what he considers to be a perfect master.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, that point of their relationship is a fitting, like, analogy for, again, the whole slave-master dynamic you're seeing throughout the game. But it's on a much higher level of, and essentially explains why, therefore, Barnabas wants the entire world to just become that, you know? Ultima wants to make everyone a bearer, is what is the takeaway there. Yeah, it is like to draw that parallel with Ultima, where the slavery plot doesn't actually stop, it just continues, is like, okay, there we go. That's a through line that I think is pretty good. Yeah, that is kind of what was done between then and now. That's it.
Okay. Good catching up. Good work on your own time.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So are you gonna stop Ultima's plan?
Sure.
Say, no, my will.
That could be an optimistic reading on the way things are going, but I think based on the wiki entries that this guy gives you with Ultima and stuff, that it's like the fact that they do repeat the whole like will being lost and others replacing your will and the whole slavery thing. It's like, I think it is intended parallel. I think it is intended there. I don't think that's reading too far.
Lawsman Harpocrates, I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion.
That being said,
But I can't imagine what...
Sorry. That being said, Ultima being a more compelling character as a whole, there's tons of room for improvement. I'm complimenting what Ultima represents, not the things he's saying and what he's doing and his energy, because you You want a better character, yes.
4.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Sid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the Dragoons, his studies no longer being deemed necessary.
Interesting.
I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting, not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him. And I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
Damn.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail.
God damn it.
Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be
Didn't see
granted
that
inner
one
solace.
coming.
Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the color. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's Roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
Reggie, I haven't talked to my kids in 10 years. It's eating me away inside. I don't know what to do.
Damn.
I need your counsel. I've turned to you because you usually have good advice.
Right.
Can you get me some lizard tails and some slime goo?
Is that all?
That will help me fix the relationship. Don't ask any further questions.
You sure you don't want some pig feet we'll go with?
Help me repair the relationship.
I think you need some pig feet as well.
Da-da-da-da.
I'll go get all of that for you, just
His
in
knowledge
case.
lost.
Oh my god.
Despite scouring the shelves, I have found only one reliable reference to a place where wild wyvern tails are known to have grown. But it is in Waloed, by a waterfall near Rickmal's Roost, as I told you. I dare not ask that you undertake such a long and perilous journey on my account, of course, but were you to find yourself in the area?
Yep. Okay. Well, let's just update while we're at it and then
Compiled
fucking
some new entries. If you would like to see them.
Oh,
Like,
level up?
you just gotta sit there and just, no matter what people are coming at you with,
wish
just
to
like,
study the tomes?
what do you need to collect and how many?
Can you show me the logos entry, actually, before we go?
Yeah.
I know we don't have
Good
much
morrow
time,
to you,
but
my friend.
I'm curious.
What subject
Far right.
shall we consider today?
Well, Ultima uses Muthos to describe the vessel he has long awaited, one into which he can pour his soul and cast a supreme being. Logo indicates its blasphemed form, a vessel over which the will of another has complete claim, making of itself a false god.
There you go.
Okay.
Ultima, the real Harpocrates. you know, if anything.
He knows what's what. All right.
Or Hippocrates, for that matter.
Did you learn everything you needed?
Yeah, man. Just another slave master. That's it.
From one to another. It's fine.
Nothing special.
It's
You just take it on a larger scale. Galactic, even. You know?
Under a new administration.
That's it! Like, hey, yo, Ultima, you want this body? Okay. I'll sell it to you for $12,000. And Ultima's like, well, Clive, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
You alright?
What's going on?
Something troubling you?
No more than usual. It's just... Eda's baby will be coming soon, and I wanted to make something for it.
I'm sure she'd like that.
Back in the north, families would always make gifts when a bairn was on the way. Yeah, let the little tykes know they were welcome in their new homes, like.
So, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that Eda's due any day now, and I don't know if I'll be ready in time.
So, Gav and his storyline here are immediately reminding me of, not Sam from Lord of the Rings, but Sam from Game of Thrones, who's basically the same character.
Okay.
Samwise,
To
even.
help?
You know, there just might be.
All right then. What exactly are we making?
A good luck charm. But not just any good luck charm.
Not just any.
No. One made from the feather of a silver chocolate.
Of course!
There's naught lucky in all the realm, or so we used to say back home anyway. Thing is, they're hard to come by. Had Otto and Karen check with their suppliers, but
Is ambrosia
nothing.
silver?
I try and track one down myself.
Yeah,
only-
technically.
Only
Or
the big
white.
day is fast approaching. And that's all you need. A feather.
That or the bird whose arse it's attached to, aye. I was gonna start by asking around. with
Everything is a
traveling
scavenger
traders
hunt,
plying the
man.
northern borders.
All problems
Yep.
can be
There's no shortage
solved.
of those passing through Martha's. I think I might make that my first port of call. I'll let you know if I find anything.
You're a good friend, Clive. I won't forget this.
God forbid I pick one off Ambrosia's ass, though. Fuck you. That baby can fucking kick rocks for before I do that.
Hey, what's up, Joshy?
Ah, Clive. This is it then, brother.
Our last dance with Ultima awaits.
Only the Founder knows what awaits us up there.
Indeed.
But whatever we find, we shall overcome it. We will not do to disappoint our friends. They all believe in you, Clive. They would follow you to the ends of the earth if they could.
You're wrong. My friends don't follow me. They spur me on. I couldn't have made it this far without them. Nor without you, Joshua. You gave me your blessing and made me your shield. Without you, I don't know how I would have even survived. Even when we were apart, you were always with me, and I trust you'll be with me now until the end.
Of course.
Of course, whenever that may be.
Joshua, what's wrong? And don't say nothing.
It's not nothing.
We just did a quest before
I've
this,
received word from Cyril.
because the hole in his chest
The
is
Undying
not great.
Found father's will.
Oh?
Needs some treatment.
Something
Oh,
akin to it.
did it show it?
His
No.
will.
Ah, damn it.
How and
Sorry.
where?
No fetish for you.
I just want to see a circle
crypt
hole, the
beneath
the
Rosleigh
stone
Castle.
hole.
Show your hole, Josh!
hole, Josh.
Show your
To drive out
hole!
the Imperials, the Undying took the
Please.
opportunity to recover what
being
relics of
such
the
a
duchy
prude.
yet remained. And in the process of doing so, they found a letter from father.
I'm surprised anything survived down there.
Cyril asked that I join him in Tabor at my convenience. I have been meaning to go, but would you join me?
Okay, let's see what Daddy had to say.
Of course. I want to know what's in that letter as much as you do.
Very well. I am ready to leave when you are.
The Undying have burnt the letter. They thought it was for the best. For the sake of the Phoenix, we must never know what was in it. I wish I could have stopped them, but apparently I have no power over the things they do.
Back to Tabor then. Not to be reunited with Yote this time, but with Father.
Wow.
Oh, I also spoke to Taria, and she gave me a treasure for the wall.
Oh, cool.
The hour fast approaches.
Yeah, okay.
The time is nigh. Ifrit.
So I feel like there's some stacked dialogue that should be done just to make sure you wrap up with whoever you need to. Did I do you?
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
be careful out there.
Oh! Ah! Alright. Tabor, that's the place where the mention of the descendants of the fallen come from. And it also describes in the wiki entry that Ultima is one of the fallen.
Okay, straight up.
So it doesn't specify him as like particularly special in his entry. It just says he's one of the fallen.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Because I wasn't too sure about that either.
Your Grace, my lord, I trust your journey was not overly onerous.
Cyril, you found a letter from Father.
Yes, I have it here.
If I got that wrong, let me confirm it. One of a race of ancient godlike beings. Maybe I interpreted that as them talking about the fallen in that first sentence incorrectly then?
Support land of Alstia to make it world. Created the Mother Crystal to harvest huge amounts of ether. Sowed the seeds of humanity so they might one day produce a vessel strong enough to channel it.
Do you read that as them describing him as one of the fallen, or do you read that differently?
I mean, you would have to equate race of ancient godlike beings as the fallen.
Being the ancient godlike beings.
I don't know if it's.
We don't know. Yeah. You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You would have to look at more pages of lore.
Thanks to that button that I can clarify that
If you
immediately.
would do us the honor, my lord.
What's in the letter?
I know that I ask much of you in this coming war, but I see no other way to secure the future of our duchy and our family. Yet even should we succeed in subduing the savages and winning back Drake's breath, the threat of the blight still blooms. And only with all Rosaria striving as one might we at last overcome it. I've made plans to see us through, but such are the obstacles that stand in our way. It shall likely fall to you to continue my work. I know that you have the strength, the courage, and the will to do so. This shall be an arduous inheritance, and so I offer you another, that you might be reminded of the love and the faith that I hold for both of you, your father. Damn, I feel like Sid got a whole like voiceover scene cutaway and emotional moment, and Daddy gets a fucking TXT.
An inheritance.
Unless this quest ends with one of
It would
those.
seem the late
I think he deserves
Archduke
it.
penned this missive shortly before his passing.
The day before we left for Phoenix Gate.
What are these plans he spoke of?
His plans for the duchy, your grace. Your father entrusted them to my predecessor, the former bearer of the Burning Quill, who entrusted them in turn to me. The complete emancipation of bearers is their stated aim.
Ooh.
But your father's dream did not end there. His Grace also spoke of building hospices to care for those stricken by the curse, and the founding of a new university to further the development of
Oh, Rosario was about to burn to the ground.
with the blight spreading ever
Oh,
more
they were
widely across
never
the
going to let
Twins.
that happen. That shit was going to
Archduke
get
Elwyn
bombed
saw this as
immediately.
the only means of securing Rosaria's survival.
He wished to see men and bearers treated as equals,
That's crazy.
to see centuries of common wisdom overturned.
Bearer Wall
No
Street?
wonder he did not
What?
think it achievable within his lifetime. But he thought it achieved.
Burn to the ground! Burn! Burn to the ground!
Let's take a stroll to the grassy knoll. How about
He have
that?
entrusted his vision to his most faithful
Come on, Elwin.
aides,
It'll be fun.
those who would have
Let's just
stood
wave at the people.
shielded you from the machinations of the less benevolent personages at court.
It's a pity only they are still with us.
Anabella pulling out an umbrella to shield herself from the fucking brains.
Most loyal to your father were the first
Just
to
twirling
suffer
it
the
like,
Duchess's
oh my
wrath.
god, what happened?
But one at least remains, and she has come bearing gifts.
What do you mean?
Mayhap it is better that she explain, my lord. After all, the duties entrusted to me by my predecessor extended only to recovering His Grace's will and arranging a meeting with the one who might execute it, or a part of it at least. And where is this woman? She awaits you in the archive, Your Grace.
Thank you, Cyril. Shall we then?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that secret history of like, would revealing that bearers were once on top, like, it's like, some people might take that as like further proof to redouble their hatred efforts. Like, oh yeah, thanks for reminding us why we fucking stomp on them.
Finish the job.
You know, why all the countries just came together and went like, right, fuck these guys.
This is the Required Tree, an archive where we of the Undying collect and collate our findings.
We hate them because they're better than us.
True nature surely lie buried within these pages. We have only to unearth them.
Damn, the secret history books apparently state that bearers had bigger dicks than the rest.
I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn around and I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm better than this, right?
No!
Shit. You're right. You're fucking right.
Once again, I welcome you all to WoolieVersus. Where the fuck do you think you are?
Oh my god. Okay, Lord Cyril, acolyte stationed across Valistia, reported a curious change in the primeval structures we have come to refer to as monoliths, following the fall of Drake's tail and the change in the sky. Allow me to present the preliminary findings. Our archaeologians' investigations into those monoliths most near at hand. We were able to visually confirm the activation of the structure in the northern reaches of the Velcroy, but a sandstorm forced our temporary retreat. We'll make a second attempt when the wind drops.
Archaeologians is not a word that shows up very often. Archaeologist is often
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Draco's Deep, our team was able to make direct contact with the monolith. However, no further change was observed upon touching its surface, nor upon dealing it several stout blows with both fist and blade. Whatever the purpose of its activation, it would appear to be other than that of the defensive echoes we have encountered among previous relics of the fallen and their predecessors. We shall continue our investigations, both of the monoliths proper, and of any historical writings that may refer to them, and inform your lordship forthwith should they produce any discoveries of note. May the phoenix's flame burn ever in your heart. Tomage, Second Order of Archaeologian.
I guess I'm now just thinking that, like, if for any reason if Ultima isn't of the Fallen, then and the Fallen are just another created group, what purpose did they serve? And, like, you know, where does that wrap up, I suppose?
My lord, your grace.
Hello.
I hardly recognize you. I am Goditha, retainer of House Rosfield, loyal servant to the Phoenix and his shields. Your father, the Archduke Elwyn, entrusted me with the delivery of a gift. I only hope you can forgive my tardiness in bringing it to you.
Lift up your head, Lady Goditha. You have our gratitude for your service to our house and to our father.
I merely did my duty, as any proud Rosarian would.
Okay, gimme.
My lady, perhaps you could explain a little more? What exactly is the gift you bring?
As I'm sure you know, it has long been the custom for the children of House Rosfield to be presented with certain keepsakes upon their coming of age.
Indeed it has. Our father often spoke of the day when our turn would come.
And had he lived to see it, he would have presented you with the treasures I bear. Matching armbands for you both. Alas, he did not live. Indeed, he was taken from us even before they could be completed. He had intended to claim the Heartstone with which each armband was to be finished himself, but it was not to be. And his gifts remain incomplete.
Armband?
See.
It saddens me to bring them before you, as they are.
That's like
It was
socks.
your father's wish that you be presented with the finished articles, not these works in progress.
Oh, what do you need to complete
But with his
them?
grace has since gone.
Yo,
And the
fucking...
stone left
I'm about to get the pig feet over there.
What turtle asshole
You are grown men,
variety do I need to
and his
collect?
house is yours. And while I would not presume to insist upon your
Blue?
claiming the Heartstone in his stead, I know that nothing would have pleased him more than for you to do so.
Thank you, Lady Goditha.
What say you, Clive?
What else?
Not much of a coming-of-age gift, I'll tell you
Of course,
what.
my lady. May our father's will be done.
You ever had any friends at school that
I am
came
much
back
obliged.
after their bar
you know
mitzvah
where we might
and you
find
were just
this
loaded and you're
Heartstone?
like, what the fuck? Why don't I get a bar mitzvah?
Though it may be a matter of a good
That's
deal
crazy.
more than
You mean how
simply happening
much?
upon it. It is found
At
in the bellies
13?
of elder griffins.
Damn.
You see,
Made it.
we do at least know where to
Mad
find
jelly.
one. A certain specimen has made its nest in Titan's Wake, not far from here.
A certain specimen.
You are most perceptive, Your Grace. In answer to your unspoken question, yes. In fact, this is the very same beast your father meant to slay. I have been tracking its movements since you were but a boy. Were you to slay it in his stead, as men of House Rosfield, it would surely make your father proud.
What say you, Joshua?
What else?
Griffin is like, I escaped this bullshit for the last 10 years. Come on! You're coming back now? For fucking pomp and circumstance?
It's the end of the world.
For my ass? You got bigger problems. Leave me alone. First Order of Archaeologians, Dalmekian Wing, 53rd Monthly Report, Item 1. Further discoveries from the Acolyte ensconced within the recently displaced mountain dwellers' remote settlement. The diminutive tribe's main village appears to be in receipt of regular deliveries of supplies from Hugo Kupka's Men of the Rock. On inquiring with the locals, it became apparent that they have the deepest respect for the one they call Lord Kupka. But whether he has merely bought their loyalty, or if there's some deeper connection between the tribe and the Titan, remains unclear.
The Undying are not the only secret fellowship in this realm, you know.
Yep,
There are others, each working for their own ends.
we met another.
Why, not so very long ago, a society committed to discovering how one might cast magics without a catalyst was found to be operating throughout Valisthea. They were denounced as heretics, rooted out, and driven from our shores, never to be seen again.
Too many people in
Titan's
hoods.
Wake is to the south of here. But we must not be hasty. The good lady has been disappointed once already.
Time to put up some signs at the hideout that say "Pas de style hip hop."
Oh my god.
You wanna translate that one, or
No hip hop style allowed.
a very a hilarious sign that pops up in
This is no time to ride.
certain establishments here in Quebec from time to time. They're like, really, huh? Hip hop style, you say?
Damn.
Is that the problem?
I have not been confronted to that one yet. Holy crap.
Pas de style hip hop.
Damn.
Loading is quick.
come on.
Kind of unrelated, but it reminds me, like, right before the pandemic, Quebec was going through a lot of stuff, like no masks, no headgear, no religious items.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that did happen for a bit.
Get surrounded.
And then pandemic happened. Masks were mandatory.
But that in that case,
that
they were.
kinda went
But
away.
it was a different kind of mask they were describing. Not at the time, it wasn't necessarily.
Yeah,
Eyes peeled, Joshua.
like they were talking about like burqas and niqabs. And
Yeah, it
all
was
the
about
coverings.
religious iconography, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it's wild because it's like, okay, so Quebec is full of churches, and Quebec fucking hates the church, and like that, like anti-religious sentiment taken to
deserve a
its
rest.
extremes becomes completely unreasonable on the other side of things, because they're like, Quebec is like, fuck the church, but to the point where
which is ladder.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Hold up. Oh, whoa. Okay, my bad. Diamond dust.
Oh my god. Yeah, the stagger was crazy.
Yep. Submerge.
Looked like he was out of energy for a second there. Shimurg. Or Simurg? Hey, stay in line. Man, moving a lot during the
He
film.
healed. He went to the edge of the fucking thing.
What a god. What a god.
Oh my god, come on. That sucks. Are you serious?
Yo, you've been wanting to kill me for how long now?
That
You
sucks.
think I didn't pick up a few tricks? Do you remember where are my limits, human?
No, not that one. Where am I? Over here.
Griffin is like, Elwin was a bee.
He walks to the edge and he fucking... That didn't... Alright. What's going on?
Can't see shit, Captain. And he's out. And he's back in.
Hey! 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 Hey!
What a god.
Hey!
What a god.
Hey! Guys, I'm in the green circle. What do we do?
Get closer to the triangle.
Alright,
Come on,
fuck,
kind
alright,
of, kind
alright,
of.
fuck this, fuck this, fuck
Kind
this.
of. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Is anything...
Wow, he's frozen for a long time. Was that a buff of yours, or?
No, that was a perfect dodge on the Shiva.
Jesus, it's lasting so long. Oh. Kingslayer. That didn't do much. Alright, don't back up too much. Uh-oh. No, no, no. Hey, get back here. Get back here. Okay.
That's fine. I'll take that.
Better. Man, like Griffin loves edging.
Christ.
Upside down. My dancing blade. Nice.
Not enough.
It's about to get stunned soon. Ugh. Beat that bird. Beat that bird. There you go.
What a fucking stupid...
Smart. Smart. Two Hearthstone.
Ring out means fucking full heal. On a mission,
the Hearthstone.
and it'd be no less.
I expect Lady Goditha will know.
Good job, boys.
Fuck you. Fucking walking forward Sonic Boom bullshit.
Man.
Save my relationships by collecting these stupid animal asses. And by the way, they cheat.
No wonder they're so strong.
No, yeah. What 13-year-old wouldn't fucking give up at that point? It's cheating!
You were safe. The griffin is slain then?
And the Hearthstone claimed.
It's not fair.
Yes. This radiant luster, like frozen flame, it is just as your father described it. Thank you, my lord.
Life isn't fair.
Your grace.
That's the lesson you learn.
Your father would be
Now
so
you're a
proud.
man.
Lady Goditha, the lapidary is ready.
Thank you, Cyril. I will be with him
The
shortly.
lapidary.
If you would excuse me, I shall have the stone cut and set forthwith. The armbands are complete. Pray, take them. They are yours. After
Yay.
all, Hearthstone is harder and more enduring than garnet, or even ruby.
Yep, there you go.
It symbolizes unwavering will and
Now, which part of my crazy
and the
spiky
graven
uniform
lines encircling
will an
the
armband
stone
fit on?
Represent the unbreakable bonds between you.
It's a message. Father knew we had enemies both inside and outside the duchy. Enemies who would thwart his vision. Only with unwavering devotion would it ever be realized.
And only if we stood together, as Phoenix and Shield, as brothers in arms, only then might those enemies be overcome.
Indeed. His Grace knew the enormity of the task he would entrust to you, his heirs. But this was more than just a message. It was a promise. That he would always be with you.
Thank you, Lady Goditha. for remaining the steadfast custodian of our father's will.
Forgive me, my lady, but there is something I don't quite understand. The Undying told me that after Father died, Mother claimed all of the ducal treasures for her own. Even if the armbands were incomplete, she would surely not have overlooked them. So, how were you able to keep them from her?
Because I was the keeper of the vault. Though I was but a lowly servant, your father spoke to me of his intentions for the bands. Of the deep love he had.
What about his intentions for bearers?
And his hopes
Any more on that,
for your
or
future? In the days before the disaster at Phoenix Gate,
bearers.
I discovered that the Duchess had ordered her jewelry be sent away from the castle. It was then that I knew she meant to betray us. I tried to warn my father, but it was too late. When word of the fire reached Rosalith, I knew my time was short. So I took up the armbands and I fled into the night.
And thank the
Smart.
founder you did.
Yet my duty to your father
Was just the
incomplete.
armbands?
Not knowing what else to do, I followed the griffin, thinking I might claim the Heartstone on its passing. And so my pursuit continued, until Lord Cyril appeared before me. He informed me that His Grace's will had been recovered, and that his sons were alive and well.
Lady Goditha, on behalf of my father and all the people of Rosaria, I thank you for your loyal service.
Yeah, I don't know how she did it. I would just moved on.
Thank you, my lord.
Really have
Damn,
really have
Anabella.
nothing going on in their lives.
Annabella was a real
Giving
one,
my
man.
service meaning.
Preemptive fucking moving everything out.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, no, also shout outs to
Anabella was like, we've been separated since 865. I don't know what the hell it was.
been separate, what? Oh, you thought that? No, what?
I remain.
We
your
haven't been
faithful
together for at
servant,
least
my
4
lord.
years. Will you shut up? Will you just stop? Will you just shut the fuck up?
Stop it!
For the love of God. Annabella's like, bring it to the red table.
Oh my god.
Ah! Enough!
The bands suit you well. It must be gratifying to finally receive the inheritance that was denied you for so long.
It is. And we thank you for the part you played, Cyril.
If you would permit me to play my part a little longer, might I suggest that you make your way to your father's memorial atop Hawk's Cry Cliff? Let him see that you have received his blessing, and that his vision lives on in you.
I suppose it would be churlish not to.
Churlish.
What do you say, Clive? Should we pay father a visit?
That's
I
a
think we
fucking.
should.
That's a
I was hoping
$10,000
to be
word
able
right
to offer
there.
him my thanks before we left for Origin.
Your father's helm is enshrined there. It has been since the day we recovered it from Phoenix Gate. I prithee claim it, for it too is a part of your inheritance, and I do not doubt that your father would prefer it in your hands than perched upon some lonely rock.
Thank you, Cyril.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I like his voice.
Sure.
It's grovelly.
It's deliberately
Come on, Clive.
Slytherin.
He's waiting.
You know? If you're a Legend of the Galactic Heroes fan, he's the Oberstein of your crew. No. Shout outs to Alexandra Cow, who wrote the message. Ultima lay dormant on the Reddit. Ultima lay dormant waiting for someone so shit his scheme of destroying the world would go unnoticed. and
Good job.
And based on Anabella, he got never before seen results.
Good job, Andy.
Yep.
What a distraction.
Can we get someone so fucking dog shit that no one notices what I'm planning in the back? There she is. There she is.
Now's the time.
Perfect.
Time to get a move on. Go, go, go. It's not a drill.
Never before seen results. Okay. So in Rosaria then is where we, yeah, there we go. surely these armbands will give off the aesthetic of a class chairman, like a Japanese high school class chairman, and nothing else. Nothing else will remind you of armbands.
Okie doke.